So you know how Facebook memories can be. It can be a bit of a Russian roulette as to whether it's going to be a good memory or a memory you would like to avoid. And for me today, it was a memory that was rather impactful. It was a memory from 2015 that stated, "A new year is like a blank book. The pen is in your hands. It is your chance to write a beautiful story for yourself." I had shared that photo, and above it I wrote, "I certainly need a new story." It was exactly 1 month after I had learned of my spouse at the time's affair. I suppose what I see the most when I look back at that is that I did write a new story for myself. I did create something very, very different than the life that I was living at the time. I didn't stay stuck in the sadness and the rejection and the abandonment and the loss. I got up and I fought. As painful as it was, as challenging as it was, I got up and I fought for a different life. And I created one for myself. Does that mean I created a perfect life? No, it does not mean that. Does it mean that my children are perfect and that I am perfect and that I've created the ideal perfect life with no problem for myself? No, that's not what it means. Life is still life. Things are not perfect. There are struggles, but I'm absolutely not the same woman that I was in 2015. At that time, I was living the life that I wanted. I had obtained a home. I had my 2 children and stepchildren and a family. We weren't perfect partners to one another. I wasn't a perfect wife. He wasn't a perfect husband. We didn't have the perfect family, but I thought we had a good family. It was what I wanted. I wanted a family. I wanted to raise children as a family, go on vacations as a family. And I believed that we were both committed to that. So when I learned that he wasn't as into it as I thought, it was pretty devastating for me because that was the life that I wanted. I had to accept a life that was different than that. I had to accept that that life did not exist for me and would never exist for me because it really wouldn't. My children would never be raised in a home with both of their parents at that point. At the time, I did very little for myself. I was very much focused on raising family, raising my children, and that's not so different from me now. That still is the center of my world, but my world also includes some satisfaction for myself, because one of the big things that I learned is that it doesn't matter if you do all the right things or do the best you can to do the right things. It doesn't guarantee any kind of outcome. That I tried to be as devoted and committed as I could be and sacrifice myself over and over and over again in different situations. After that, I allowed more space for fun and joy, for some spontaneity in life. I was able to start to do new things. Here I am now 10 years later, and I've traveled and spent time on the other side of the country. And I have never lived anywhere except that little Eastern Kentucky town. And I would have been satisfied to stay right there in my marriage, doing the same things, staying committed to my commitment. I would never have had the experiences that I've had since then. I would never have gotten to know myself and experienced the world in the way that I have since then, had those series of events not occurred. So I did write myself a new story. Faced with the understanding that I was not going to be able to have the life that I wanted, I had to look for what else I could want. What else could I do for myself? What else could I do to create some satisfaction in this life of mine outside of being in that marriage and having that family unit, because that was dead. So I started working really hard. A lot of my time was spent just working hard, stabilizing. Many, many years. I didn't date for probably 5 years after the divorce. And even after that, I haven't dated much. Life is busy. So I poured myself into work, into learning, and into creativity. I gained more independence and learned to be able to rely more on my skill sets. I learned to cut the grass. I learned to cut the weeds. Did I cut them perfectly? No, absolutely not. I'll never win an award unless it's the most creatively mowed lawn award. That would be a nice award to win. So anyway, learned to do little repairs around the home myself. I took care of my children, and I did most of that by myself because when my marriage ended, I did not have a consistent co-parent. And that's very sad and unfortunate to say for my children, but it is the way that it is. So I became the primary everything, which was really hard. It made it really hard for me to be able to do anything to take care of myself because I was constantly smothering under the responsibilities of being a single parent of 2 children. But today, 10 years from the day that I said I certainly need a new story. I'm really, really proud. I hope that that girl that wrote that sees where we are now. And I hope she's really proud of the decisions that I made and the work that happened from that moment to here. Because what I can definitely say is that I'm not looking back over that 10-year stretch saying that I'm in the same place that I was, because I'm not. Are things perfect? No, they're not. I will never be a perfect person, and I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to do my best. And that best changes from day to day. But I am trying to work towards things. I have a vision, and I'm willing to put the work into that. And that work that I put in over this 10-year period, and it was just my work. Nobody else did it for me. I hope that she is proud of where I am now, because I would never have dreamed 10 years ago that I would have been capable of some of the things or experiences that I've had since then. And listen, some of these experiences that are so powerful to me may mean nothing to everyone else. But to me, it's everything that I was able to experience life on the other side of the country for a period of time. That I've been able to make sure that my kids were clothed and fed and had their needs met. That I was able to try to dance again. That I was able to put myself out there in a way that is really risky and is something that 10 years ago, the girl that I was never would have done. I didn't even speak my opinions 10 years ago. I had them, but I didn't voice them because I didn't want to cause conflict or upset other people. I just existed. I just allowed myself to fall into whatever space was available in any setting to keep from disrupting it. I just adapted. And I'm still adaptable now. I'm not going around trying to cause problems anywhere, but I do allow myself to exist more fully than I did then. I'm allowed to have needs. I'm allowed to take care of myself. I'm allowed to take actions that are fulfilling for me and seek goals that are fulfilling to me. I'm not willing to sacrifice myself anymore. That didn't get me anywhere, and other people didn't really appreciate it. So if you're standing in a position that you really want and need a new life, that you want to write a new story, you can do that. That there can be a day that you look back at a Facebook post and realize you are so far removed from that. To realize that you did it, that you needed something different, and that you fought for you. You can have a new story any day. We are all writing our own stories. We are all our own main character. And the choices that I make today are building my story and my future. They are setting the stage for my future. And it's so important to understand that what I do today will determine where I am tomorrow and next year and next month and 10 and 20 years from now. What we do right now today matters. Those choices matter more than anything, what I'm doing right now. What I'm going to do next year doesn't matter as much as what I'm doing right now. So again, if you want a new story, get out there and write it. Start today. I don't care what it is that you're doing. Do something small, some small step towards something new that you want for yourself. You know, in the beginning for me, it was just trying to stabilize and create security within my home. Just trying to stabilize myself emotionally and stabilize my children emotionally, all while grieving these huge losses and trying to navigate overwhelming amounts of responsibility at the same time, while still being emotionally available as a parent. That's hard. So again, the things that I've accomplished for me may mean nothing to anyone else, and that's totally okay. I respect that, because what I'm telling you about is my story, is my accomplishment of my goals, that I have come farther than I ever dreamed that I would. Many times in life, actually. Anytime life starts to fall apart or to crumble, that's an opportunity to rebuild something better, something stronger, something more satisfying for you, something that matches more of who you know yourself to be at that time, something that doesn't include what didn't work from before. I survived because I've learned to use the momentum of the fall and empower myself towards changes in the future. I've learned to use the pain as motivation to transform myself and life into something different. And you can do that too, if you want it. And you may accomplish things that are way bigger. I think the possibilities are endless, really. I think they're just limited to us. My whole point of doing this today was to stand as an example. If you are in a place today that doesn't feel good to you, that is stagnant, and you know you need something different, you know you need a new story, just like I did, then start writing it. And don't give up just because it takes more than a week or a year to really get there. Many smaller things might change within a few months, but some of these bigger things, it may take years to get to. But that time's going to pass either way. So don't give up on you. You are worth the effort today. So I'm standing here as an example that if you want a new life, you want to write a new story, then get the pen and paper and start writing. Start making decisions one at a time, one day at a time, that will move you closer to that direction of where you want to be. Whatever that is. And make sure it's where you want to be, not where you think somebody else wants you to be. Let them live their life. Let them write their story. This is yours, your story. Write it.